So, hello, great people. Welcome to the sixth episode of the Rising Again podcast. And first of all, this is a special day to me, to all my friends, and to everyone who has graduated in this year and the month of December 2023. I just want to congratulate you all. May God do you well. May God bless you. And may His mercies lead you and go before you. So, let me tell you a little story about myself before we go on. So there's a time I was in second year end. So I was seated in a class next to one of my classmates. Let me call her Mary. So just this is another identity I've given to her. And so there was a time I had this picture of a house that my brother and I had taken a picture of, like at the front of the gate where we were like dressed in some way, and we would post to see if this was our house. So now, as I was perusing the photos, I happened to show the girl the picture, and she asked me, Sam, that place is great, that is your house? And I told her, yeah, that is our house. And just within my own conscience, I could feel the guilt because I was lying. So there was the shame that was in me, like admitting or coming to terms with my background and just accepting that I came from this situation, and that accepting the fact that it didn't have anything to do with who I was as a person, and I had the power to change that. So I technically tried so much to fake my life, especially in campus. I tried to fake so much by investing in my appearance. I had technically put all my money into buying these extreme looks, trying to fit in a particular culture of people, trying to dress in a particular class or particular way just to seek the validation or try to show people that I didn't come from this background or I didn't come from a humble or a poor family, when in fact that was my reality. And there's a time I was seated with one of my friends. Shout out to my friend Daniel. So he told me at some point when we were now completing our fourth year, he told me, Sam, you are, he called it some term which I can't really. He told me I was a wannabe, and it really hit me. That was in our 4.2 now. He told me, I really looked at you when you were still in first year and second year, and I knew that you are wannabe. You tried so much to fake your life and to act like you are something that you ain't. So you're trying to wonder why this episode, or I started this episode with this story, which to me, to admit this story is a kind of shame to me. First of all, trying to go back and look at my past when I was just trying to deny my situation. I was trying to fake life and act like I came from a wealthy or a rich family. I was trying to prove a point or try to gain validation from my classmates and the people around me. And it didn't work. Definitely, you can lie everyone else save for yourself. So the episode number 6 is titled Unlearning the Lies You Have Learned or Adopted About How Wealth and Money Works. So I'll just start off with reading an excerpt from a Quora digest I was reading, or I was going through before I started this episode. So allow me to read, and I'll just look at the camera. Growing up in poverty can have a profound effect on a person's views on money and wealth. It can shape their attitudes and beliefs in both positive and negative ways. Two sides of the coin. So this is literally my summary about how the perspective was given. A person who has grown up in poverty may place a greater emphasis or importance on financial security and stability. They may be more inclined to save and budget their money carefully. They may also have a stronger sense of value for hard work and may be more motivated to work hard in order to improve their financial situation. On the other hand, people who have grown up in poverty may also have a sense of resentment or distrust towards the rich or towards the wealthy people or the people who have the money, and they may also feel that the economic system is stuck against them. So I want to help us understand how our backgrounds shape our perception about money and wealth, and the lies that we've learned through this process, and the gradual steps we can take to adopt a superior money mindset and just live a life of abundance. And I say this with supreme humility, knowing that I'm also still learning about this process, about wealth, and there's a lot I need to unfold. And definitely, so you'll just have to learn a couple of things from me. I'm also open to learning, and I'm still learning in the whole process, but I can just share some nuggets. So first of all, as I've talked about the experience, for example, the today's episode is not meant for everyone, but there's something you can learn from it. I just wanted to relate to the group of people who have grown up in a background that is similar to mine, where you grew up and saw your parents lack. And I say this with like so much, like you can sense it so much. It's connected to me in a very deep way. You grew up, your parents had to budget between paying your school fees and maybe medical care was not an essential, and at some point you had to go without eating. So you find that when you grow up, this will have a particular mindset about it, will develop an attitude, especially in your mind, unconsciously, when you don't know about money. First of all, you'll either learn that money is evil. There's this inherent lie that people have been selling to us when when we were growing up, which we picked, and it actually affected us in a very brutal way. They were telling us that money is the root of all evil, and like growing up now I've realized that money is not the root of all evil. Money is just a neutral object. So money amplifies who a person is in reality. For example, for like today, if I'm this person who is committed to serving humanity, the purposes of God, maybe I'm a philanthropist, or I want to do something like of kindness. If I get money, I might well be inclined to doing that, like helping other people. Maybe if I struggled in school because of school fees, I'll set up a fund where I'll support other people by helping them pay their school fees, and just make sure that they can get they are not stuck in the process of their academic journey. But now, if I've been this person who has always been selfish or a glutton, then who has always been a degenerate, who is into all these degenerate behaviors, you find that when I get money, I might start now wanting more of that. For example, I might want to spin women around, I might want to take alcohol, I may want to, like engaging in these activities that are pursuing high dopamine end, which at the ultimate end is just vanity, as King Solomon talks about in the book of Ecclesiastes. Vanity upon vanity. He says about that the whole purpose of human being is to live in fellowship with God. So first lie you've been told or you've learnt about money is that money is in the root of all evil, which I want to objectively reject. Money is not the root of all evil. Money just amplifies who a person is in reality. Then the lie number two, as especially for for young people like me who have grown up in abject poverty or in this humble background, you find that at some point you'll start to assume that money is not meant for everyone. For example, you are like, the rich people were either born rich, you just have, or they came from rich families, or they got their money out of luck, or being evil, like they did some dishonest acts. Okay, there are some people who got their money in some dishonest ways, and which I don't reject. But you find that if you develop that mindset and it forms like the object or the reality of what you perceive about wealth, you won't attract wealth. I'm kind of forgetting the name. The book, the power of your subconscious mind talks about this aspect of money. I just read the book, like it was the second book I read early this year, and I was trying to understand everything about money, how to attract wealth and everything. So I tended to assume that the rich people were born in a particular way. So which means that you either had to come from a rich family, or there's an aspect of luck, or maybe like you just have some genetic composition that the poor people don't have. So which meant to me it was like wealth was a destination. I wasn't looking at wealth as a journey. So when I came to this realization, obviously after reading stories like of people like Vusi Thembekwayo, I read stories of people like one of my mentors, Stephen Bartlett. I read stories of Iman Ganzi. I was just going through his IG today, and this guy started taking care of his mom when he was 16. He literally became the sole breadwinner. He started providing for his mom, and he became a millionaire at 21. Yeah, so like that is the USD. I'm not talking about Kenyan million shillings. Like you can go and search out his story, check out his YouTube channel, which I've learnt a lot from. It's IMAN, then GAN DHZI, Iman Ganzi. I don't know how to pronounce that. Maybe you can pronounce it better. So if you tend to have a perception that money is only, or the wealthy people either have luck, have gained their money through dishonest means, or they have achieved it through some, maybe from their parents or from their geology, you find that you won't try to work hard and change your story. So because you assume that a wealth is a destination, you won't really try to figure out the first steps of becoming wealthy. So when I tended to assume that wealth was a destination, I was literally sympathizing with my situation. I would go to people and tell them my story because I wanted them to feel sorry for me. At some point right now, I don't need you to feel sorry for me. I come from a humble family, but that does not define my future. I know I'll be great. I'll have abundance and wealth. I'll take care of my family in a good way, and I'll not allow my kids to go through the same thing that I went through, and also give back to my community through trying to help other people become better in a way by adopting this superior money mindset and just providing some support. This is what I'm up to. This is my end goal. I've always wanted to be a philanthropist at some point. So this is just part of the journey. So I was just talking of this art where you need to change your money mindset. Start looking at money as a journey. I'm currently reading the book called The Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco. So he talked about this aspect of fast lanes. There's a slow lane. He talks about the slow lane. He talks about the sidewalker, the slow lane or the slow learner, and the fast learner. So he talks about the aspect of how the education system has really lied or sold lies to us about money, where we need to work for 40 years, then retire in like having some millions, which will have depreciated in value and everything. So let us just first of all start looking at money or wealth as a journey. So which means, first of all, if wealth is a journey, you need to figure out what you need to do. You don't start a journey by literally, for example, they say a journey of 100 miles begins with a step. So you have to first take the first step, which the first step is, especially for people who have come from a background like mine, you have to fix your money mindset. So I'll just come to the things you can do later on. So now, the line number 3 we've been sold about money is that, for example, I don't know how to describe this, but you need to work. It's like toil to get money. You see this aspect where I literally celebrate my dad. My dad has literally toiled, from just doing a random or a mere boda work. My dad has been able to pay my school fees. You see, he's been literally hardworking. But there's some portion of life or money that doesn't come from like the hard work. Money is not connected to time. At some point, you know how the masters play their game. You see, there's someone who literally comes to office for 5 minutes and they are paid in a hundred of thousands. It's because they've learned some skills. So I believe at some point when you come from this humble background, you tend to attach the value of money to time. So which is literally misleading and a very weird point of trying to evaluate the worth or the validity or the value of money. So if you are still attaching the value of money to time, then you are, there's an aspect that MJ DeMarco talks about in his book, where he talks about uncontrollable limited leverage. So if you attach money to time, then there's no way you'll ever become wealthy. So I'm still trying to learn on how I can dissociate my value of money from this time factor, because anyway, I can't control the amount of hours I have in a day. I only have 24 hours. I spend 8 sleeping, which means I have 16. Then, which means technically a 9 to 5 is most likely the way that most of us used to estimate our net worth. And you find that we'll always start there. For example, like right now, as a graduate, I'll have to start there. But the only point we can do is change our mindsets, and I'll come to that later. So stop attaching the value of money to time. You can work as a master in a way, like start developing some skills right now, to the extent that when you get to, for example, in your late 20s, right now, let's talk of you being in your early 20s. Maybe you have a skill, you are a DJ, you are good at art, you are maybe good at MC or public speaking. You find that if you really invest in this skill for the time and put in the value, at some point when your value or the light will start going out to the world, you'll find that the demand upon your talent or skill will be so immense that you'll now live your life at your own terms. You'll start putting value to the money you get paid based on your skills or craft, not by your time. So we should also dissociate this factor of money from attaching it to the time we've spent. For example, I'm being paid 300 for working for how many hours? Like, that is just an example. You're being paid 1,000 bob for working from 6 a.m. in the morning to 11 p.m. So if you really don't change your mindset or think of a different way, then you'll find that you'll still be stuck in the rat race, and at some point you'll get tired, or you'll find that your needs will be too much and they won't really help you. And then the other lie we've learned about money is money being a property. Or you see, some of us, for example, let me talk about my story. Just for a minute. Okay, so welcome back. I was talking about the idea that most of us visualize money as a property. You find that most of us think that money is meant for paying bills and now buying assets, or not assets, particularly material stuff, to show off to the people now. You see that most of us are still in the employment sector, especially for the young people, or maybe you're still at the basic level of self-employment. You've started your business and it's like kind of trying to pick up, and you're trying, when you get money, you try so much to show people that you have the money by doing what? By buying this stuff. Most of us are trying to prove a point. So we buy, for example, you buy a Chanel shirt or a Chanel bag, you buy a Gucci t-shirt, you buy all this crap shit that you don't need to impress people that you don't even love. So you buy things that you don't even need to impress people that you don't care about or love, just because you're trying to prove a point to people. And honestly, I was there. I remember I've just told you my story. When I was in second year and first year, I was literally spending all my amount, all my help loan on buying clothes, just to make people feel, or to make myself like have some certain standard which I didn't even have. I was just poor. I had a poverty mindset. I was broke most of the times. I would stick on borrowing people a lot of money, but ultimately I was just, it's your mindset about money. If you think of money in a different way, for example, nowadays I think of money as an asset, not as a material. If I have money, I think of a way I can regenerate more income. For example, let me just tell you a story about myself. When I was in third year, I was in third year, most likely, in third year. Uh, Late on in third year, I started selling street coffee, like just going to the random street, the street, the coffee that people sell in the street, like for 10 bob. So that is after I had fixed my mindset for a lot of time. So I would sell coffee, then I would come back to my house and I would make some good money for 2 hours, definitely. At least that was money that I'm very sure was good for me, especially that I didn't have a lot of responsibilities. So, like you see, when I started off by fixing my money mindset, I would think of different ways I could use my money. For example, I joined an IRATE, that is a real estate investment trust. I joined a circle with the money, though I stopped saving for some reason, but I'll go back. I started saving for my emergency fund, and I also, like, you find that I had a different way of handling my money from what I had learned previously, where I could just get every coin I could get, I would just bang it into buying clothes, buying these shoes. It's not bad that you should buy or have good looks or invest in having a quality wardrobe. But if you're really sacrificing everything you have for the sake of trying to prove it to people, at some point rich people or wealthy people don't even have to prove a point to us, because the money is silent, or wealth communicates their status, so they don't need to wear these Gucci t-shirts, or there are some these brands that are out there. They are conspicuous and they are very expensive, when you could just wear something that is cool and amazing and still look great. Anyway, if you love the brands, it's okay, but I'm talking to a young person who is really trying to still to become financially independent. You don't really need to do this just because the other people in your tribe are doing this. You can become better. You can just decide to live a different life. So stop looking at money as a property to pay, or something you use to pay your bills. Then you also start looking at money as a way of generating an income or revenue streams. So if you have this growth or abundance mindset about money, you start treating your money in a way that is different. For example, you develop a budget. You'll try to also to put aside some savings, have an emergency fund. You also try to make sure that you really avoid these flashy things that don't even add any value to your life. If you need them, it's okay, but if you don't need a lot like of this when you're still growing up, you don't have the money to sustain all that class that you want, so you can regulate on that. So the other point about money, especially now here it comes, for most people they think making money is easy and it should come quickly, and you find that most of us are now using this and we are addicted to gambling. Oh, we want this quick fix to solving our money problems, when in reality you should know that if you're really determined to have quality success or wealth, it will take time to build. I'm not talking about the slow length factor of time. You really need to work on something, put in the work. At some point you won't get any income back. For example, as I'm investing in this podcast, it's not like I'm doing this because I want the money at first. It's because this is my purpose, and I've been there. I've been at depression. I've been at that pathetic version of myself, and I really felt like I really know how it feels to be at the rock bottom, because I've been there, and my mission is try to help that young person become better. So you see, if you really have this idea that you need a quick fix or a quick fix solution to your money problems, you'll start engaging in activities that are harmful to your. First of all, they won't help you. It's like they are not a permanent solution to your poverty, or not poverty, you're being broke, the art of you being broke. They'll only give you a temporary fix, and at some point you lose it all. So people who go to gamble, you just need to learn that everything happens gradually. Like, it won't happen in an instance. So you need to learn, how can I develop this, for example, a saving culture. Instead of gambling, take that money. If there's a money market fund on the M-Pesa app called Mali. Mali offers some interest on your investments. For example, I was introduced to Mali. Shout out to one of my friends and my best friend, Daniel DC. So introduced me to Mali, and he told me, when you save your money in Mali, it can help you by giving you like a 10% interest in a year, and this interest comes on a daily basis. So I started saving. I started off at 100 bob. At some point I go to 20,000. I won't tell you how far I am right now, but I'm somewhere good. And you see, like, I don't have a lot of money, but I just decided to adopt the saving culture. So you see, when you adopt this, like, you need a permanent solution. You don't try to look for a quick fix to your money problem. First of all, fix your mindset, then start adopting these long-term strategies towards financial independence. Yes, you want to gamble and win $1 million right now. You want to gamble and win 100,000 Kenyan shillings. But at the end of the day, you just find you'll keep on cycling. Sorry, you'll keep on cycling your poverty situation. So, I've given you my nuggets about the habits that you need to unlearn about money. I've told you the first thing of we assuming that money is evil. The second about I just mentioned them, not like the rich people either got their money through dishonest means or luck, or maybe they came from rich family and thinking of money being a destination, or wealth being a destination instead of a journey. Then I told you about us needing a quick fix to our money problems. Then attaching the value of the money we have to time. You really need to find a way of dissociating the value attached to your money from time, because you can't control the amount of time you have. Then the other thing, we talked about the quick fix. So I'll now give you some of the nuggets on how you can rebuild your money mindset. And first of all, I'll give a big shout out to Morgan Housel. His book called The Psychology of Money literally changed my mindset about how I started. From reading this book, you can go look for it. I don't know if you can see clearly. I don't know, the light is too much. This book, I just want to read some part of the book. It's chapter 9 of the book, especially the title there for you, and help you understand how this book changed my mindset about money. So chapter 9 talks about wealth is what you don't see. And now, in the intro, it says, spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to have less money. I was there. I was trying to show people I had money when I didn't even have any money. So, this book has really helped me from reading all the chapters. You can just go in the streets and look for the book. It will help you if you're struggling with trying to battle the scarcity the scarcity that you've been. It's not your fault. You were born in this situation, and you've adopted a lot of things that you need to learn from the environment. So look for a copy of this book. It's called The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, and start reading it gently or gradually. It will help you transform your mindset, and from it, maybe a day I'll just look at a review from the book and help you understand this. So the first thing which everyone must do, first of all, as I forgot, is acceptance. If you came from a poor family or a humble family, you didn't have anything to do, or a decision. You didn't have any power to decide from which family you would be born, and it's not your fault. So stop feeling bad about the fact that you're born from this family. I was born there too. I tried to deny this fact for a long time. I was like trying to fake. I was trying just to live a different or a fake life, and after some point I realized it wouldn't help. I just decided to accept my reality, and from there I decided I could craft a better life for myself, my parents, and my future family, which I'm literally waiting for. Like, I'm literally working on making sure that my kids also get a better life from they get a better life than what I got, and also like they can just have the freedom to do good things when they have the abundance of money. Then number 2, you fix your mindset. How do you fix your mindset? Look for these books. I've read The Millionaire First Line by MJ DeMarco. I'm still reading it. I'm reading Your Next Five Moves by David. He's called Patrick Bet David. That name. I've listened to a lot of podcasts about money. I listened to Myron Golden. You can go listen to him. I've listened to this guy called who. I don't know. I'll try and remember. I'll just share the same on my social media handles. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. So just go on YouTube or go to, if you use Spotify, you can listen to Vuzi Thembekwayo, by the way. He's a very good coach about business and impact. So there's a lot of things you can do to fix your mindset, and it all starts with making the intention or making that intentional decision to change your mindset about money. It won't just change if you're seated. You have to also put in the work. Then number 3, you, after accepting you've changed your mindset, now the third thing is you start taking responsibility for your life gradually. For example, I was telling my friend that, like, if I got a work, I could just also be a waiter in a hotel or a restaurant. I'm not ashamed of doing a hustle as long as I make my money in a legit way. So instead of like turning into borrowing or just making people to sympathize with your situation, start adopting responsibility. You could go sell like sweets in the street, sell groundnuts at first. As you grow slowly, it won't start at a big place. Just go and start doing something gradually. As long as you make some income, then know how to save your money, know where your money is going to. If it's a budget, please make sure you come up with a budget. If it's anything you need to cut off that is wasting your money and you don't need it, you just also make sure you, like, it's called the minimalist principle. Try to minimize, especially for young people. There are things we do that we don't need even to do in our lives anymore. So if you are really trying to grow, like, own up your responsibilities about the money. Just realize that no one else is gonna save your life. No one else is gonna change your destiny or your situation or your family's life. So you are the only person that can change that, and it only starts when you decide to take responsibility by first fixing your mindset and then working on your financial situation by working. Like, I don't define it as hustling. Just go out, make some money. At the end of the day, interact with people. You can take up a sales job or a marketing job. You can learn a lot from this and you'll be better. So when you start, like, for example, when you start like doing something, you first of all, you also learn that making money is not easy. So you'll discard this idea of entitlement towards other people's money. You also realize it's true that at some point people don't have money. For example, when your parents tell you they don't have money, then you'll start understanding that enyewe at some point money ukauka. So you won't try to really rush people. Then at some point you'll start being hardworking. And there's a point that it's like, this is a common statement. When you really know what you want and you're working towards it, like you put in everything you need to do, then the universe and God, they are all gonna conspire to help you achieve your goal. So I believe that when you put in the work and God really sees your effort and the universe also sees your effort, they're gonna help you become like achieve your goals. Just to first of all like realize that you can't do anything, especially with coming from poverty. There are a lot of curses or burdens on you, and you can't really go anywhere if you don't have this supreme help. Like there are chains and curses you need to break. For example, with poverty, there are a lot of things that have been done in your lineage that you really need to say that it ends with me. For example, you say that my kids won't also really face this frustration. So there's an aspect of spirituality to it. There's an aspect of mindset shift. There's an aspect of adapting responsibility, learning and unlearning and relearning. Like this will always happen for everyone. There's no point where I will reach and say like I think I've learned enough and today I want to stop. So like just adopt these, like fix your life in a way, start gradually, and also at some point you'll be fine anyway. At this point you don't really need so much, but as you put in the value, you start like take responsibility for your life. The last thing I'll need you to do is identify a skill you're interested in, learn it, and become better. At some point, you see now, learn to become a master at that skill, and you realize that at some point you'll become better and better and better. So you'll stop attaching the value of your money to time. So you realize that people will be paying you upon your own demands because they really need your services so bad. Like if you're interested in becoming an author, start writing books right now. Sorry, just do. Like if you are interested in coaching, like for me, I didn't say let me wait till I go to school and call myself a life coach. There are things that I can help other people with, and that also makes me a life coach. It might be self-proclaimed, but it's okay. If you want to mentor people, start mentoring people who are at your doorstep. You'll find that at some point you start learning of new ways of doing things. So pick a skill you're interested in that has demand in the market out there. Learn it and become like commit to learning this skill. It won't happen in a flashlight, and at some point you won't earn from it like at an instant. So it will take time. Just invest in learning, then later on, before you realize, when you become a master at the skill, you'll start earning based on your own demands and live life at your own terms. So hello great people, I know maybe this podcast is too shallow and we shall do a review on this episode, but I hope you've learned some insights on this. And until next time, I leave you with this quote: average is the enemy, success is your own responsibility, and change can happen in an instant if you decide to flip the switch. Till next time, I leave you with the peace of God.